Welcome to the Muscles and Mindset podcast. I'm Danny Mehmood, head coach at AM Fitness. The purpose of this podcast is to bring to you guests from all different areas within not just bodybuilding, but fitness, nutrition, health, business, mindset. We're going to cover it all. Now, the overall aim is to have some good conversations and provide you, the viewer, with value and knowledge to take away and implement that in your daily life. The guests are going to be asked a series of questions, and then you, the viewer, are going to also have the opportunity to send in your questions via Instagram, and then we can put them to our guests directly. So to help us out, please like, subscribe, share this as much as you possibly can. And without further ado, let's get into the first episode. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the first episode of Muscles and Mindset podcast. Today we've got our very first guest, which is Danny Mehmood, aka Moody Fitness. So, thanks for coming, first of all.
Welcome, good
so
to be here.
Just run through a few different questions about where he's come from, what he's doing at the moment, training, business, all of that stuff. So we'll start right at the very beginning. Training, where did it all start, and what was it that first got you into bodybuilding?
So training, I was probably around 13 or 14 when I started actually getting into weights. A mate of mine had got a weight bench, just one of them weight benches from Argos that you used to get. And we used to just train in his bedroom. We used to go there after school and stuff, train in his bedroom, lift the weights. And that's kind of how I got introduced to just the weights. And then from there progressed into sort of moving into a gym a few years later.
Because pretty young is that, 14 to be. I don't think I started until about 19, something like that. So
yeah, well, when we were younger, we used to watch a lot of strongman, and I'm never into strongman. Like, I never wanted to be a strongman because I could tell my genetics were never. I'm not thick and tall for it. But it was just something I was always into sports and always into sort of the strongman side of things. And my mate was into strongman, so that's kind of how we got into it. I was watching the strongman, and then we wanted to just lift and get bigger and stronger. So just started training with weights, and like I say, in his bedroom, and it's kind of how it started, really.
So from that, what made you want to first compete? How did you first get into that?
So the competing side of things. So when I was still training in the bedroom on the weights, my uncle actually gave me a bodybuilding magazine. I think it was called Muscle Mag, something like that. And I'm not sure who was on the cover, but I was just flicking through the magazine and I seen this picture of a guy, and it was Dexter Jackson. He was doing like an ab pose, and I looked in and I was like, wow, I want to look like this guy. Started like flicking the pages, seeing all these other bodybuilders in there, and I just got hooked. I seen these guys and I was like, wow, this is really something that I want to do. And a local bodybuilder opened a new gym where we live, and so I went down to the gym. He was huge, and I said to him, listen, I want to be a bodybuilder. I think I was about 18 or something, skinny as hell, 9 stone. I said, I want to be a bodybuilder, and he kind of like looked at me, and he didn't say like, you can't do it. He's like, well, it's going to be tough, it's hard to do. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm willing to do anything it takes to get there. And he kind of took me under his wing from there, and that's how I got into sort of the bodybuilding style of training then.
That's good, because when we see younger lads in the gym, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you start out at, it just shows that anybody can do it and get to a very good standard if you're willing to put the work in. Yeah,
and I like the fact that he said to me like, you can't, you're not going to be able to do it, and he didn't look down at me and say, you can't do it. It was more like, well, it's going to be hard work, and it takes balls and dedication and everything to...
But I can show you how to.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean, I used to be the same with the magazines. I used to see pictures of Jay Cutler. I think that was the main one. He used to be the number one idol for me, and he always worked up to wanting to be like that. So in terms of competing, you've done a lot over the years. Mm-hmm. What was the most memorable show of all?
Most memorable has to be 2019 when I won the British finals at the Two Bros. That was when I first got into bodybuilding. The ultimate goal was obviously, I want to be a pro. You're looking at Flex Lewis, you're looking at all these guys in the magazines, I want to be a pro. But the other goal was also I wanted to be a British champion as well. So I'd say 2019 is definitely the year when I won that. It was like a big milestone for me. It was like something that I'd kind of didn't think I'd ever achieve, because before that, I had a bit of time off and kind of fell out of love with bodybuilding a little bit. But then got back into it and then managed to achieve, and that I think it was, that's the best one I think for me.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, British champion bodybuilder is a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
in bodybuilding. It doesn't get much better than that on an amateur level. So going back to your first competition, after that, did you know that that's what you wanted to do for the next 10?
So my first competition, my first competition, I was 19. It was actually a charity bodybuilding show at the Pop Club in Aki, and there was around 4 of us on stage. I think there was one guy who was like 40 odd, and the rest of us were quite young. I was a natural, and that was the first show that I did. And the judging panel on that show was Sean Tavernier, who was an IFBB pro, Paul Thompson, Rob Rinaldo, and Ian Chambers. So after that show, I actually placed second, and Sean Tavernier came up to me after the show, and he's like, "Listen, you've got a really, really good physique. You've got a little bit of everything. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to go really far in this sport." And I was like, "Wow!" Sean Tavernier's come up to me and said this, and I was like literally over the moon. From that day and him saying that and getting the feedback from the other judges, I just thought this is really what I want to do.
Good stuff, yeah. Because I mean, anyone who doesn't know, Sean's a 2-on-2 pro bodybuilder, and he's huge when you've come face to face with someone like that. So to get compliments from a professional art is always going to be a good performance booster for you.
100%, yeah.
So what do you think it takes to become a British champion bodybuilder?
What do I think it takes? Well, you've got to be. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, but you've just got to be persistent. I think. I mean, throughout the years of competing, I did very, very shit at the beginning. You know, I didn't come in shape, but I never let that get me down. Every time I did bad in a show, I never bitched about it. I was like, right, I need to look at my physique. What went wrong, and then just kind of work on that and move forward. So I think like if you wanted to become a champion, you have to be consistent. You have to be hardworking, and you just have to be persistent and not get down about your placings.
I think that's what we've got to understand, because a lot of people might have followed you for a year, 2 years, even 3 years. You've seen all these wins, you're British champion overall, won this, won that, but what they haven't seen is the previous 10 years going back, where you probably got third place, or not even place sometimes.
I remember I did one shot at Leeds, right, and I weren't in shape, but I went on in Leeds, we did our quarter turns, one set of pauses, and that was it. I didn't get called back on. And I had my family there as well, and it was just so, I was like, I never want this to happen again.
Yeah, so that can work 2 ways. That can you can either think, right, that's it, I'm never doing this again, put you off completely, or like with your mindset, you can think, right, this isn't happening again. I'm going to work harder, come back better, and
that's what it takes. Like I said, you've got to be persistent in that goal. No matter where you place now, you know what I mean, you've got to keep going.
Stuff. So what advice would you give to a first time competitor now, or advice to yourself 10, 15 years ago?
I'd definitely say do as much educational research as you can on it. I think nowadays there's so much information out there. You've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's just so much information for you to learn from. You know, back when I was competing, there was not that many stuff. You know, I was cutting out sodium, I was cutting out water, I was doing all the sort of things wrong. So my advice would be to educate yourself, and you know, if you're thinking about doing your first show, then actually go to a show first and see what it's like. You know, sit in the audience, see how it's run, see what the physique looks like, see what the judges are judging, and get a feel from it there. And you know, if you decide to go ahead with it, then you know, hire someone that's going to help you get to that point, you know, stress free.
I always say the same. You need to go to a show, because it's certainly not for everyone, and I think it probably does put a lot of people off. Going to a show, but I think if you love it, you love it. It's a bit like Marmite. If you hate it, you hate it, kind of thing. So in terms of competing, what's next?
So for me, I'm thinking 2024 is what I'm aiming for. The end of 24, I think it'd be a good amount of time. You know, I've had some time off, I've had some issues, and I don't want to get on stage kind of not beating my last look. So I just need some time to get back to where I was. And then when I'm happy with sort of how I'm looking, and if I can put the size on that I need to put on, then you know, at the end of 2024, I think makes sense. I don't just want to get on stage just for getting on stage. Yeah,
again, I think that's the bodybuilding mentality. There's no point going back with the same physique unless you're just enjoying doing it. But if you really want to do something, get somewhere, or even aim for that pro card, I think we've got to really push harder, come back bigger and better than ever. So it should be good to see that end of next year.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I've just started a bit of a diet now, and I felt a love with it for a while, and now I'm, falling in love back, getting back in love with it again. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see how this next sort of year goes, and as long as my gut health and my health is good, I'll continue to push and work towards that goal of getting that pro card eventually.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I think health should always be number one priority. I think there are people out there who will push the boundaries a little bit in terms of health. For me, it certainly wasn't worth it. Partly the reason why I'm not competing anymore. So I think as long as you're getting your bloods done, you're getting your heart checked, I mean, you're doing as much as you possibly can, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bury your head in the sand when it comes to this game. Years ago, when I first ever got started, I did that. I buried my head in the sand. I didn't get the blood work done, and now I couldn't imagine never getting blood work done. Do you know what I mean? As you get older, you realise that your health is more important than any bodybuilding show, and you want that longevity. There is a life after bodybuilding.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all right looking absolutely amazing on the outside, but
100%, yeah.
If your body's fucked on the inside, then you're going to have problems later in life, if not sooner.
Yeah.
So let's move on to coaching. Obviously, you've transitioned into online coaching full time now. So what made you want to start helping other people out?
So I've been helping people for a long time. So went back in my 20s, I was writing people diets in the gym. And I just enjoy teaching people and just helping people, and that's kind of where it got started. Back when I was in my 20s, and then I've helped people for a few shows and stuff. I help you for your show, and I just love teaching people what I've learned and kind of just guiding them on their journey as well. And it's very rewarding, and that's probably the main reason why I enjoy the coaching. It's the rewarding.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be. Everyone starts off at the beginning. I was the same. I'll coach for free or very cheap for a number of years, and then work your way up. But I think if you don't enjoy it, you've got no place doing it really.
Exactly. I think a lot of people get into it because they think they're going to make loads of money about it. But if you're getting into coaching purely because you're looking at money, you're getting into it for the wrong reasons. You need to, for one, you need to be passionate about bodybuilding, which we are, and you just got to love helping people and teaching people and being a leader, I think.
Yeah, that's it. And because let's face it, I don't know about you, but I probably work double the hours what I used to work my 8 to 5, but I don't call it work because I love it, so it's
100%, yeah.
So in terms of business, what happens going forward? Where do you see yourself for Moody Fitness in the next 3 years?
So business side of things, obviously I only just quit work in March, so I'm still kind of finding my feet with all this, but I really want to be able to build a team of like-minded individuals like myself who just want to help and inspire other people, and I just want to sort of build like a household name brand where like I did with my physique, people would know me for my physique. Now I want to transition that into sort of the coaching side of things as well and just become one of the best coaches in the UK and just build a really good solid team.
Because again, it's like you said, there's life after bodybuilding.
Of course there is.
And then for me now, I get just as much, and I'm sure you do, watching clients on stage as I did myself. So at least if you can carry that on further, then you're not pushing the boundaries with health too far because you're just watching rather than...
Absolutely. And at one point I was in a position where I was like, what am I going to do after bodybuilding? I was sat there thinking, well, am I going to get that pro card? Am I going to be able to make a career out of it? And I just didn't know where I was going to go. And then obviously I fell into the coaching side of things, and now I've found my purpose in life, which is helping people.
So what's the best and worst things about coaching? I know
it could be controversial, couldn't it?
A very long list of things I hate, but I'll let you go first and I might answer this one.
Okay then, so let's go with the thing. I wouldn't say the things that I hate about coaching. I'd probably say things that are frustrating. So a frustrating thing would be, you ask a client, have they stuck to the plan all week, 100%, and then they say but maybe the weight's gone up and maybe they've not got the results that week that they that you thought they would have got, and then you dive a little bit deeper and ask them a few different questions, and it's like, well, I had this extra, and it's like, well, why don't you just say it and just be honest and be 100% with it,
That's it. Like any relationship, two-way process, everything has to be you have to agree on both things. You have to be open and honest with everything. So I think that's a big one, And similar for me, I think it's when somebody doesn't care about their goals and I'm more invested into the goals than they are. Because any client that comes to me, I'll put 100% in no matter what. But then after a few weeks, if you can see that they're not really as interested in as me, that is frustrating, because like you say, we do this because we love it. So if someone isn't giving it you back, it's quite frustrating.
Exactly, you almost feel like you want it more than them.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's happened a few times, so yeah, that's probably the most frustrating thing. I wouldn't say hate, because I don't hate it, but it's just frustrating.
So we've probably been over this. What's the best thing then?
The best thing is, I'd definitely say helping people realise their true potential, because I believe everyone can get in shape. I can believe everyone can achieve great results. So, but some people just need that guidance and a little bit of help along the way. So I just definitely feel like helping people, unlock the true potential, and just seeing people's reactions and faces and comments when they're getting to goals that they've never thought were possible. And I think that's just like one of the most rewarding things in the world.
Definitely. And that's not just about competing as well. You've got your general population clients who never thought they'd get in shape before, but then with the right guidance, nutrition, training, all of a sudden they're in the best shape of their life, and the whole life is literally 100%. Changed for the better.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of questions from Instagram that we'll move on to. Some of the juicy ones. So I think this is inevitable that this was going to come up. So at what point did you decide was the right time to start PEDs?
What age, or?
Well, at what point?
What point?
So it could be at age and at what stage of your bodybuilding development?
Like I said, I trained since around 13, 14, and I trained like that until I was 19. When I was 19, I did my first competition. People were telling me like, oh, you need to jump on stuff if you're competing. And I was like, no, I want to do this naturally, and I did pretty good. I came second, and after that show, I made a decision that if I wanted to pursue becoming a pro, then I needed to get on and take PEDs. And from that day, that's when I decided, at age 19, 20, that I wanted to pursue bodybuilding, and that's when I decided that it was the right time for me to move into taking PEDs. But before I decided that, I had researched massively for years and years. We used to have forums back then.
Yeah.
We used to research on the forums about all the different things. So I wouldn't say I was massively clued up, but I knew quite a bit before I even started to,
Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I get people coming in saying, oh, they're taking this, and this, and they don't even know what it's doing, why they're taking it, or anything. They just grab something, the first thing off someone at the gym, which is not a good situation to be in, to be honest. So always do your research and know exactly what you're doing, or at least have a lot of trust in someone who is telling you what.
Or again, hire someone that's going to be able to guide you and make you do it in the safest way possible. Yeah,
because let's face it, lads in the early 20s, you don't need it.
No.
Testosterone's going to be sky high. Yeah. So it's just.
I mean, and I think like if the goal is to compete and to be turned pro, and you've got the genetics to turn pro, then in your 20s you might want to think about it. Yeah, but if you're someone that's like not competing and not got those big goals, I don't think that you should be taking it, because the long-term implications of taking stuff, it can really have serious health effects if you do it wrong.
How does living the bodybuilding life affect your relationship at home?
Oh, I'd definitely say like in a prep it's definitely challenging. It's very challenging, and especially in a prep you need to have someone that understands you as a person, because we're all different, right? Everyone's different, and when you're on prep it's very, very draining, it's very taxing, and yourself, some days you just don't even want to speak, you just kind of want to sit there and just be. So I think it can affect it, but I guess communication is probably the key, and just understanding each other. Yeah,
definitely. I think they have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just not going to work, is it?
No,
so luckily for you, Paige knows exactly your goals, why you're doing it.
Well, I think when we got together, I was
about 2 weeks out, I think.
Yeah. So yeah.
How long have you been together now?
4 years, I think.
4 years. Right. Have you two ever competed against each other? No, we haven't. We were close. We did the same competition, but I didn't win my class, so I didn't make it to the overall. But we haven't even got. I'm actually quite annoyed because we didn't even get any pictures together.
No, that's annoying, because now you're never going to compete.
We'll never do it again.
Yeah.
We could have a pose down now.
Yeah.
But you never know. Maybe one day, but.
We might do a photo shoot, something like that. You never know. We'll see.
So yeah, unfortunately we haven't. Plus, obviously we're in different classes. They're usually either height or weight classes. Danny's obviously a lot shorter than me, so we never got a chance to do
But it was
together.
good that we did the same show together, was backstage together, we pumped up together.
Well,
So
we prepped together, we trained together, so
yeah.
we went through literally
we
like
just didn't go head to head
everything,
against everyone on stage. But
So, last one, where can people find you on social media?
so Moody Fitness 21 on Instagram, or if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Danny Mehmood New.
Awesome. Right, thanks for your time. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe and share if you can, and then we'll see you on the next episode.